Okay, I realize there's work down here, but it may not be well understood at this point. So I'm going to go to the whiteboard, and I'm going to write down the steps necessary to do that. Now, I want to point out there's a footnote over there. It's at footnote 214. It says the scale is second order. That's quite helpful, by the way. So, if I didn't know that, I would still try something, but they say it's second order. So let's go to the whiteboard. As I go to the whiteboard, I'm going to write the steps down for you. So the steps are as follows. We'll write down S equals, and S is equal to 4 plus X plus 7X squared. And then you get minus 5X cubed. And then you're going to get 19X4 plus, well, they're saying it's predictable when they do this over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply S by AX. I just don't know what A is. Let me write that down for you. So you're going to get 4AX plus, well, I'm doing by A, right? So it's going to be, let's say I did the 4AX. Now it's going to be what? It's going to be AX squared. And then it's going to be what? Minus, not minus, but plus 7AX cubed. And then what? Then it's going to be minus 5AX4. And I'm just going to, maybe we'll put the next term down, but it's really not necessary because they say it's second order. So I'm just going to say, yeah, yada, 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 yada. All right? Let's go to the next one. I'm going to say BX squared. I just don't know what B is. So what's it going to give me? It's going to give me 4BX squared. Then what are you going to get? Then it's going to be plus 4B. Let's see what you're going to get. 4B. X squared. No, I'm sorry, I did that. 4BX cubed. I'm sorry, I made a mistake and I got to correct it. That's going to be, oh, you know what? I made a mistake in the second term. Sorry about that. This is 4B, X squared. Next one's going to be BX cubed. Then what are you going to get? Plus 7B X4, and then yada, 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 yada. All right? So let's add it together. What do you get? You're going to get S 1 plus AX plus BX squared is equal, well, you get 4. Then you're going to get 1 plus 4A X. Then you're going to get 7, let's see, plus A plus 4B X squared. And then you're going to get, let me write this over here, plus minus 5 plus 7A plus B X cubed, yada, yada, yada. All right? Now, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to get things to disappear, right? And by the way, when I say that, let me just write this down. So I want, and I'll highlight it for you. I want this thing to disappear. I want this thing to disappear. And I want everything else to disappear. All right? Now, again, the assumption is second order, so let's see what happens. Let's see if we get this. So I'll write this down for you. So I'm going to write down A plus 4B would have to equal minus 7. And that comes from this guy over here. Right, because that would make it 0. And then I would write down 7A plus B would have to equal 5. And I'm going to multiply the second equation by minus 4. There's a point to that. You're going to get minus 28a minus 4b equals minus 20. I'm going to take these two and add them together, and I'm hoping it's going to be easy for me. You know what? That's minus 28. All right? Let's add those two together. What do you get? Minus 27a. Let's see. There would be no b's, right? And that would be minus 27. So a is equal to 1. All right? Let's see if we get the b now. And what's the b going to be? Well, I look at something. I guess, you know, what I look at? Probably this one over here. Looks like the easiest one to do. And what would the b be? Well, if a is 1, b would have to be minus 2. All right, so let me go back up here, and I'm going to erase it now. And I know a is 1, so this is 1 here. And the b, I found out to be minus 2. All right? Okay. I want to just go through a little checking here. All right, the checking I want to make sure is I want to make sure that everything's disappearing. Quadratic forward, by the way. All right, so let me go check this out. So I want to point out, I want everything to disappear. But what am I left off with? I'm left off with 4, x plus 4a. That's right over here. What did I find a to be 1, right? So let me erase this, and I'm going to say it's 5x now. Just give me a second to put that down. Oops. All right, so this I know disappears. I just did that. I know this disappears. I just did that. Now, someone's going to say, I wonder if the other guy disappears. Well, let's write it down. What do you get? You get 19 minus 5, because a is 1, and then 7 times b would be minus 14. That's also equal to 0. All right? So now I know, let me write this over here, what s is. S will be equal to 4 plus 5x. I have that here. Everything else disappears, by the way. And I divide it by this. What am I dividing by? 1 plus a, x, a is 1, minus 2x squared. Now, if you want, which I kind of recommend initially, just divide. And you'll see that this thing generates what we expect. So you know what? Maybe I should do that. Now, it's the first problem, so maybe we should really, you know, just do that, all right? So what I want to do is, I'm going to start to erase things now. I'm going to erase this over here. I'm going to erase this over here. And, you know, maybe I'm being overly retentive, but I do want to claim that I'm hoping this works out as advertised. And let me write down a better version of S anyway. Let me erase the hacked version of S here, because I was checking it, circling, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm being overly retentive, but what I want to do, I want to do the long division. And I want to make sure I generate what they say I should generate. And again, they said second order, but let's just take a look. So what am I going to do? I'm going to write 1 plus x minus, you know, I'm going to move it over a little bit, because this might be a long division. When I say long, I mean really long. 1 plus x minus 2x squared, and we're dividing this into 4 plus 5x. Well, 4 would certainly be the first term. What do you get? 4 plus 4x minus 8x squared. And we're going to subtract. You're going to get x plus 8x squared. I got to get x. What do I do? Plus x. What does that give you? X plus x squared minus 2x cubed. Subtract. What do you get? 7x squared plus 2x cubed. Well, what do I got to do? Plus 7x squared. Again, I'm just checking. That's all I'm doing. What do you get over here? 7x squared. Checking's optional, by the way. And then you're going to get plus 7x cubed minus 14x4. Subtract. What do you get there? Minus 5x cubed. Let's see, plus 14x4. Well, minus 5x cubed now. What do you get there? Minus 5x cubed. And then what do you get? Minus 5x4. And then you get plus 10x5. Let's subtract. What do you get there? 19x4 minus 10x5. I think you get the idea. What do you get over here? Plus 19x4. I certainly got it all matched up. I'm not going to continue after that. Now here comes the next part. Let me get rid of my check of the long division. And we'll look at the answer key later, by the way. Long division worked out beautifully, just what we expected. Okay, I got to get this into like a series, all right? And the way to do that, I think a simple way to do that, by the way, is to factor the denominator. And I'm going to say 1 plus something. I'm speaking too quickly when I do that. 1 and 1, and 2x and x. And I hope it's going to work out nicely. Otherwise, I got problems and stuff. I hope there's not problems in the beginning. So it looks like plus minus. Now let me see if that works. You get 1. Yeah, it works like a charm. And you get 1 top, 4 plus 5x. I'm going to use partial fraction decomposition. I'm going to write down, I hate to use the same letters twice, though, but I will. They have different meaning now, by the way. Well, what am I going to do? Let's write this down over here. I'm going to multiply both sides by the LCD. And you're going to get 4 plus 5x, A, 1 plus 2x, plus B. This is partial fraction decomposition. I'm trying to figure out the A and the B in the problem, by the way. Let's take x to be 1, because it's easy. You get 9, and then you're going to get what? 3a. What's A? A has to be 3. I'm going to get my eraser out. I'm going to erase this guy over here. I can put the number 3 down now. And then I'm going to get the B. Let me just erase this A. The A is 3. Now, I'm going to pick another easy number, x equals 0. By the way, this says A is 3 here. And I'm going to plug it in. And what do you get if x is 0? You get 4. Again, we're plugging it in here. And then what do you get if it's 0? You get 3 plus b. Well, b has to be 1. Let me get my eraser out. And I'll put that down. All right. And now I'm going to write down the expansion. All right, I can do that now. So this over here, the expansion is going to be, and by the way, the expansion I'm using is 1 over 1 minus u is equal to 1 plus u squared, u cubed. That's a geometric pattern we know about. So what do you have here? you get 3 times 1 plus x squared plus x cubed plus yada, yada, yada. All right? We'll take care of that later. I'm going to write this down here now, and that's going to be a little more complicated, by the way. It's plus 1 times 1 plus, well, it's going to be minus 2x, and then it's going to be plus minus 2x squared, then it's going to be plus minus 2x cubed plus yada, yada, yada. I think you get the idea. All right? I'm going to write a little bit differently, and I'm going to write down as, term by term now, right? So it's going to be 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus, well, you know what? It's going to be, I'm sorry, I have to write that. There's an x there, isn't there? Three x minus 2x. All right, let's do the next one. Plus 3x squared plus 2 squared x squared. Let's write down the next one. Plus 3x cubed minus 2 cubed x cubed. I think you know the pattern now. All right? So I'm going to write this down. Maybe I should put the, I'll write it a little differently. 3 plus, I'm going to say 2 to the 0. That's 1. No x's. The next one's going to be plus 3 minus 2 x to the first power. Then it's going to be 3 plus 2 squared x squared. And then it's going to be 3 minus 2 cubed x cubed. I think I'm ready to write the sum down now. And what's the sum going to be? Well, let's take a look at it. I know there's an alternating pattern to this, but before I do that, I'm going to put down there's always going to be a 3. I see that. And then I see 2 to a power. All right? But it alternates back and forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say plus minus 2, and I'm going to say to the jth power. I'm going to say j starts at 0 and goes off to infinity. Now, I'm always getting the 3. Am I getting the alternating pattern of that power of 2? Well, if j is 0, I get, 2 to the 0 is 1. And minus 2 to the 0 is still 1. Yeah, I'm getting that. Now, what goes over here? X to the j. And what they want, the nth term, I'll write this down, an, we'll look at the key in a moment, is 3 plus minus 2 to the n, x to the n. They want to know the interval of convergence. And as I do that, I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to say this only works if that's the case. So looking at it, I got 2 problems to look at, right? What are the 2 problems I'm looking at? Well, I'm looking at this guy over here and this guy over here. So, the x has to be this, and this has to be this over here. So what's that mean? The x, the most restrictive one is this one over here, has to be between 1/2 and minus 1/2. So this only works if the x is between 1/2 and minus 1/2. All right? This is what they want me to come up with. Let's look at the key. I know this is a long problem, by the way. Certainly if you're quicker at it than I am, that's good for you. So did I get the nth term? Let me take a look at it. an, they got 3. They put down minus 2. You know what? I noticed they put down n minus 1, but that's not really changing the matter over here. And the reason I want to point out what I'm doing over here is I'm starting at 0. Now, I realize what Wells is doing. Wells is starting at 1, but I'm starting at 0, so I should write that down. N starts at 0. But if you were to start N at 1, this thing would look like this over here. All right, now if I start at 1, n minus 1 is 0, and this would be x to the n minus 1. So I should specify that, and it really is specified over here. But this is n starts at 1. And by the way, it goes on forever after that. Just like when it starts at 0, it goes on forever. All right? And let's see if we got the interval of convergence. Yeah, we got it down. The way they wrote it down is this way over here, which is acceptable, by the way. But again, what does this mean? X is between 1/2 and minus 1/2. And we're getting it. Are these difficult problems to do? Yeah, I guess if you're checking, it's difficult. But that's a general method, all right? General method. And we got through it. I know it's a lot of work, though, and I really did a lot of work in that particular problem. Thank you for paying attention, though.